Good day, one and all.
Hello.
Welcome back to Crimes Against Folk. I'm Ed.
I'm Ashley.
And how's it going?
It's going great.
Going great.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for our equipment. Our equipment is in a mood.
That's what's been happening to me all week, though. I had 2 shows this weekend in Cave Creek with Stephanie Groot. The first one, I couldn't figure out how to turn my PA on for like a half an hour because I just got a new PA in, and it was completely user error. It was totally my fault. Like we just like turned it. I just like didn't have it plugged in right or something. I don't know. But I was like, I was trying everything and nothing was working. And then the next show, I live streamed it. See who's. I haven't even checked to see who was on yet. But about 30 minutes into the gig, the electronics on my guitar just stopped working.
Oh no.
Yeah, just for no. I mean, they were fine, and then they were just done. It was like nope, and it was like screaming at the audience, which is super fun.
Oh geez.
I know, and like the worst part about those moments is like I feel like everyone always thinks the worst of you. Like, oh, you didn't change your battery?
Yeah.
Or like, so I'm like, no, I don't. Like something is actually wrong. The first one, I don't know. That was user error, granted, but I mean, I was trying everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh my gosh.
And then finally Brad came over and just flipped it. But yeah, it was just like, and then it was like we thought it was Stephanie's pedal. And then we realized it was my guitar. So it was like this whole thing trying to figure it out. And of course we had this like super attentive audience that was just like staring and watching us. And it was so cool. Like you could hear a pin drop. And I was like, no, it was so painful. And then, yeah. So of course we got on the podcast today and I were trying to troubleshoot this stuff. And I was like, well, this is what's going to happen because it's been happening to me all week.
Yep.
And
So it goes.
Yeah. Alice says there are sunspots that are causing some energy craziness, and I'd believe that.
Yeah,
so.
that'll do it. That'll
Yeah.
do it.
But yeah, I had a birthday this weekend too.
You did.
Hence the birthday balloons behind me.
The sunspots did not affect your birthday, thankfully.
Do you want to see the best birthday present of all, though?
Yes, I do.
You ready? Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, everybody.
It's a pupper.
This is Garfunkel. He's very
He looks just wiped out. He's falling asleep already.
Well, we took him on a 5-mile hike. Which,
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Okay.
granted, we carried him for 4.5 of those miles, but it was still a big day for a little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it keeps like sinking down. Okay, he'll come back to life later. But that's my new puppy.
Yay.
I know, I love him. He's such a cool dog. Like, he is a seriously cool dog. We've had him for like 4 days. He's already potty trained, which boggles my mind.
Wow.
He's just like, he's really chill. So he'll go to anybody. He's fine with like any situation. I brought him to all the gigs and he was passed around like the entire audience, which worked really well for tipping.
Yeah.
It was like tips for puppy kisses, and then that worked. And he plays great with the dogs, my mom's dogs and
nice.
other people's dogs. Yeah, so he's just a little bundle of joy. He's so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Ed, you know how long I've wanted to get a dog.
Yes.
So.
I'm honestly still surprised that you did it.
Yeah.
But I knew you'd want to get a dog for a while, so I'm glad that it worked out so well.
Yeah. I threw it out to the Facebook gods, I was like, who has a dog?
That's worked a lot in the past for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's fantastic that you made it this far. 2020 didn't get you.
Yeah. I quoted you last night. I said, I did it. I made it another year.
You made it another year.
Ed says every year on his birthday, and everybody else's.
So before we get started, we got a couple of folks to thank. First being Electro Voice.
Yes.
Thank you, Evie, for providing the microphones for this podcast with our lovely RE20 Blacks. They're fantastic microphones, and Evie makes a lot more cool stuff, as Ashley found out.
Yeah. Yep. I got my Eevee Evolve M30 in, and this sound is incredible on
Nice.
this thing. I mean, it's so gorgeous
Yeah, I've heard
sounding.
from other people too that sounded really good.
Yeah, it's like flawless. I didn't even really have to EQ it at all.
Nice.
Yeah. Like Stephanie and I got there early, and then I'm like, I don't think I need to EQ it. I'm like, I think it's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, they make some really cool gear. If you want to learn more about Electro Voice, go to electrovoice.com. And we want to thank our patrons for helping us keep this podcast going.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about supporting us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/crimesagainstfolk. But today we have a guest with us.
Yay.
Today's guest is a longtime friend of mine, longer than I realized for a while.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And yeah, and
That's a fun story to tell.
was in a band with him for a number of years, and now he's a super cool dude living in Brooklyn. And so we've got Ben Stewart on the show today. And I think we might just get into it. I'm going to switch over to the video and bring Ben on.
Bring him in.
1 second here. Let's bring Ben in. There, and here, and here. Hey, it
Hey,
worked.
Ben.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing,
You
Ben?
guys can hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Good. Yeah, awesome.
And you sound good too. You said you're using a Scarlett?
Yeah, thanks to your advice, man. I went ahead and got one. I saw my brother, he had got one when I was home sometime during the pandemic. What year is it again now?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's the future.
No, he got one, and the first thing he did was plug it right into his computer, and he started making music, and I was like, dude, I got to get that before he gets better than me. So, which he probably already is, because he's like, I've fallen off the wagon when it comes to like keeping my peripherals up to date and just anything. I was listening to you guys talk about your technical issues this past week,
Yeah.
I guess it was. And first of all, as a trumpet player, I don't envy you guys that have to have electronic components.
Ah,
Yeah.
I just blow and reverberate, and that's it. Like if my mic goes out, I just blow harder.
yep.
That is pretty
Yeah, so-
nice.
Yeah,
man,
that must
thank you
be
guys
nice.
for having me on the show today.
Yeah, of course. This is fantastic. We
great
we
to
were
see
going
you.
to have you and your twin brother Ryan Stewart on, but he had a family emergency, so he unfortunately couldn't make it. But
Yeah.
we are thrilled to have you on nonetheless, because it's been a while since we've
Oh,
chatted
man,
at all.
it's been eons, right?
Yeah, it feels like it. It's been crazy. So I mean, so you're currently in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, Brooklyn, New York. Been here for the past 15, 16 years almost.
Oh my gosh, has it been that long?
It's been a while. I moved out here October 17th, 2005.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. What did
Well,
you move
yeah.
out there for?
So originally I moved out here because I wanted to go to college out here and do a master's out here, which I finally got into doing, and I'm working on my second master's now.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm a big hip hop head, so I did want to do some research out here on some hip hop. I did some research overseas, and while I was in undergrad with Ed, and then just kind of wanted to explore my musical craft and just get a different sense of who I am. Get out of the mindset of where I came from, and just try to like live a bigger life. So it brought me to New York, and I got a job here, like a part-time job, working for the City University of New York, which I'm now full-time after all these years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just never kind of got away from it. So, but like, I think I'm a nomad a lot of the time, so I like to move around. Uh, and now that I'm at the age where I'm have to start thinking about like settling down a lot,
Yeah.
or at least because me and my partner we're trying to establish something, uh, but we're trying to think of where we want to go next. So now we're at the point in time where we're trying to figure out where we want to go. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. I get that.
Yeah. Well, I remember, Ben, when Witherward came to New York City on tour, and you were nice enough to let us stay with you. But, being a New York City apartment, it was Ed and Stephanie and I. We all kind of like cramped, cozied up in
that's
your
right.
living room, and it was so fun. But it
It
was
was. I used to do that for so many people that came into town.
That's so cool.
And that was like that's like one of the joys of living in New York because, um, as you know, coming to New York, first of all, itself, just getting transportation to New York is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then secondly, having to find a place to stay in New York is expensive.
Yeah.
And when I have people come in, I try to host as much as possible, especially when I'm just here by myself doing whatever I do. I think I was in this apartment when you guys came.
I'm pretty sure because I was looking at the
Yeah,
background and I'm like, that looks familiar to
Same.
me.
yeah,
I was
I
like,
think so. I might actually have a different couch now, but I think everything else is pretty much the same. Uh, but yeah, it was so much fun having you guys here, and I love when my musician friends come and visit because one, it forces me to like be in the musician mindset or the creative mindset,
Yeah.
and just being able to see how it is where you're an indie musician going out there into the world doing your own thing and living off your own dollar. You
Hmm.
basically are really living your own work, and
Yeah.
to watch you guys have like blown my mind throughout the years because I saw the thing where you guys are touring Europe, and I was like,
Yeah.
I I kicked myself. I was like, I should be touring Europe too. Like I should be touring all over the place. But you guys impressed me so much, and you guys really put 110% in your craft. So I really appreciate you guys thinking of me to come on the show and just kind of vibe with y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. It's
Thank you.
awesome to have you. And I I was just thinking about that trip and when we went to go see you, and like, the thing that sticks out in my mind the most is I believe it was after our show and we had to trek all over to your place, which was it's New York City, so it took a while to get there,
Oh
and
yeah.
I just remember getting to the subway and we had to, go down like four, like into like the pits of the subway just to get on one of the trains, and we just slowly make our way up. But I remember sitting at the bottom of that subway, like sitting on my guitar case, and Stephanie, and like, we had all of our stuff and we were just dying. And I remember sitting on my guitar case going, I have to pee so bad right now. It's unbelievable. And just knowing there was like another 45 minutes ahead was just
Yeah.
with no
Yeah.
bathrooms.
If if you could describe being a musician touring in New York
That's it.
from out of state, that's exactly what it is. Like sitting on the case of your moneymaker in the subway, tired, grimy, sweaty, after you've done a show for how God knows how many hours,
Yeah.
and still have X amount of time. The thing that's always on your mind is, I have to pee. Where's the bathroom? There's no
And
bathroom.
there isn't one. Well,
There
Yeah.
I
is
guess
no
I've
bathroom.
I've really lived. I've experienced what it's like to be a New
Oh
York City
yeah,
musician then.
exactly. You backpack it through Europe with your guitar and all your equipment. And you're like, there's still a bathroom somewhere in Europe,
Yeah.
not in New York.
No, there's
No.
always a bathroom in Europe. There's like
Yeah,
a porta potties like around every corner. It's
right.
like,
You're, you're coming up with like all these brilliant ideas of how to like create a makeshift like board barrier so people don't see you almost pee your pants or
Yeah.
whatever. It, it's great.
I'm
That's
glad
living.
I'm not
That's living.
alone.
Anybody out there listening right now that wants to be a musician, do that. Once
Yeah.
you've done that, you made it. You made it.
All
That's your
right.
training.
Well,
The rest is gravy
we
after
That's
did
that.
it,
it.
Ed. We did it.
I remember y'all waiting for you guys to come back to my place, and I'm like, I hope they're okay because I was gonna stay, but I had to go to work the next day,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and and I remember I went to go see you guys play at the what was the name of the place?
Sidewalk or the.
Oh, it might have
Something like
been.
that, Sidewalk Cafe or something like
Yeah.
that.
It might have been something like that.
And I just remember I was like, man, I really want to stick around and watch y'all. And you guys had so many people. You had a lot of people come through, and I was like, this is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. I was like, I miss these kind of environments and whatnot, and now
Yeah.
they're a distant memory in this whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
But but I was like, I hope they make it back on time because I was sitting up in my bed. I was like, is my friends alive?
Well,
Yeah, I did
yeah, we just had to pee really bad, but we made it.
that's it. And you guys came home to my glorious commode. It was wonderful.
It's a great memory, and
It is.
I would love. I mean, I want to hear what you're up to now, but I'm really anxious to hear. I mean, I guess I already know it, so I'm really anxious for you and Ed to share a little bit more about your history and just how far back it goes and how it continues forward.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm representing today.
Yeah,
Um,
Oh yeah. Oh, I should have worn mine. I have it
oh,
somewhere.
that's right. You do have
Yeah.
one.
that's
I
right.
couldn't find the classic one when Ben and I were still in the band. I had one. I think it's
Man,
just lost to
it's
the
great.
ether somewhere.
Oh
But
man, I don't even know if I can fit mine if I even have found it.
yeah, same. I don't know if I could either. um, but yeah, Ben and I were in a band back in Missouri
Mhm.
called Hazard to Your Booty. They are still around.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is the 21st year that they've been
Yes.
in existence.
Wow.
Right.
The only
The
original band member left is Eric, the drummer.
Yeah. Right. Right.
It's amazing.
Imagine.
Um,
Yeah. Gosh. I mean,
that's crazy to think about.
that is really crazy to think about. 21 years, and
Yeah.
I think people were talking about trying to come up with some way to have like a reunion with every single person that's come in and out of the band
Oh,
throughout the
geez.
year. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that?
How
that
many
would
would that be?
that'd be like I don't
Oh
know,
my, I
20
don't know.
around 20 people maybe.
At least, because we had
Yeah,
some sit-ins. We had a lot of sit-ins before.
that's
We're
true.
going all the way back to Vernell days.
Right. Yeah. Did he ever play a
Vernell.
gig with us? Like I think he. Yeah,
So
I can't
I think
remember.
he might have played one gig, and it was like at a frat party in something like the Agro House, or maybe in the basement or
Oh,
something like
that's
that.
right. That's
Oh
right.
my, we're talking about 2000, like
Yeah,
the
that was
year
like
2000.
around Halloween of 2000, I
Yep.
think.
Oh my God, I couldn't even. I mean, we both had different hair back then. Ed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We
It was crazy, and I look back at some of the pictures online, and I think, how in the world did like we ever decide to come together and create a funk band?
yeah. It was a I would qualify it as one of those kind of lightning strike moments because
Yep.
like um we all just met as you do, like just bumping into each other on campus at Truman State University. um I mean, I was Dave the guitarist, Dave Bush. I was his roommate.
Yep.
So he knew I played bass, so he's like, "Hey, I know this bass player." And how did who ran into you? I don't remember
So it was
that.
so this is the funniest part for me, at least, because I didn't know what I was walking into. I was,
None of us
you
did.
know, we started class. First of all, let me start by saying this: like before I went to Truman, I had no music training, like no proper music training. I was in the concert band in high school and the jazz band, and had to do marching band and all that stuff. But I didn't really know how to read music. I was learning everything. I was going from
Oh,
freshman year on. And I somehow, some way, I graduated with a degree in music. So cool.
nice.
Yeah, right. But I was in class with Eric and Nick Johnson,
Okay, gotcha.
and I don't know what it was, but it was me. I can't remember how many other African American students were actually in the major of music. So I think it was me and maybe three others at the time that I
That
could
sounds
think
about
of.
right.
Yeah,
I
Harry
remember at least
Ziegler
one other
on
person.
yeah, and Vernell,
Yeah.
and I think that may have been the upper class, but I can't remember all of them. But Nick and Eric were like kind of trying to figure out, and they came to me after theory class one day. It was like, "Hey, man," and I was like, "Yo," and it's like do you like funk music? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. I'm black. And it was like, yeah, we like funk music too. We're thinking about starting a funk band. And I died laughing. I cracked up. I was like, really?
Well, yeah, just looking at Eric and Nick, then I
Yeah.
get it. I get it.
Well, that and like that they were asking me. I thought they were gonna ask for me like for pointers on what like music they should probably go with, and I was like, I can't even tell you because I don't know.
Yeah.
But they was like, nah, they was like, yo, we want you to be like the lead singer. Can you sing? And I was like, and I was like, well, I am a music major. I guess I have to say yes.
Oh
So I
man.
did it, and they were cool cats. I got a good vibe right off the bat from them guys. So I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. So being the great institution that Truman was, like we had access to like these practice rooms all the time. So
That's right.
we went. I think one night I showed up and you were there playing like shedding on the bass, just doing some stuff, and I was like, oh, this pretty good. Dave was running some chords, and like Dave was the one that caught me off guard. I was like, this is a giant pirate.
Yeah.
like Dave Bush is humongous, and he really wasn't humongous. He was just super tall.
He was he's a very tall dude.
Yeah, long hair. Like he looked like he was like Grateful Dead. I was like, that was pretty awesome. And then Nick and Eric and like it was all cool. So we just kind of ran through some stuff and it sounded pretty good. And I was like, yeah, maybe this will work.
Yeah.
So we just went from there, man. And I was like,
and we brought in the Irwins. How did the Irwins come in? The Irwin twins. Were they roommates to somebody or oh no, wait, I think they knew Jeremy from Nick might have known Jeremy from MSA, which is Missouri Scholars Academy.
I think so.
And that's how they knew Dave too, I think. Or at least I think they just knew that they had gone there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first pair of twins we had in the band.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was hilarious. Yeah. We were twin heavy for a minute, right?
Yeah, we had
so cool.
Our original alto sax player, Greg Irwin, and our original keyboardist, Jeremy Irwin, were twins. Though, I mean, they looked a lot alike, but Jeremy was way taller than Greg was.
Yeah, super tall.
He was, God, that guy was an incredible keyboard player.
Oh, it was really amazing to see how much talent was all in that one room.
Yeah.
That we just kind of happened to meet each other. And I think it's so funny because that's how really great bands kind of become great bands. They like is this all these guys with these particular set of skills that kind of mesh together and just do something really glorious. And the energy right off the bat was really dope because as soon as we started playing the music live at different functions, like people loved us.
Yeah.
And I was so taken back with that because I was like, this is like not what I thought would happen. But people just loved it so much. And it was like, yo, we need to have this party. I was like, that was really cool. So
yeah, we played a few house parties.
Didn't you play one where like the house like almost collapsed on you or something like that?
Well, we played, I remember I still have I think I still have the VHS tape of this or a DVD of the VHS of this, but we played our first CD release party at a bar down in downtown Kirksville. I can't remember the name of the bar.
Downtown.
Yeah, exactly. And we played upstairs. They had a venue upstairs. And I mean, it was us. I think that was when Ryan was in the band at that point, I think, right?
So yeah, I think he was. And he he came on stage for a hot second.
Yeah.
And that was like the moment that people in the audience realized that we were twins too.
Right. They're like, wait a minute, that guy already got on the stage.
Yeah. And it was funny because was this I can't remember the year, like it escapes me, but the place was the Dukem Up.
Yes, the Dukem Up, thank you.
And it was newly rebuilt and renovated. And the owner was like, I want you guys to open up the concert hall upstairs. and we had like this huge elevated stage that we had to borrow from the music department.
That's right. We got their risers.
Yep, and we put it together. We had this huge show, and I think the capacity was, we were well over the capacity. Like it was
Oh yeah.
at least 100 and some people over the capacity.
They cited
And
a capacity, but I guess they didn't really know. And then yeah, we were way over capacity.
wait, and I think it was Flashlight that we were playing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And George Clinton's Flashlight, part of the Funkadelic. You know how hefty that song is.
Yeah.
So we was,
And we
I
played
think
like
we
an
had,
up-tempo version of it too, the one that like
yeah,
Bootsy played live. We played an
yeah,
up-tempo version of it.
exactly. And I tell you, when we played music by Parliament Funkadelic or anybody else, our job was try to make it as authentic as possible and make
Hmm.
it sound like it was the real deal. And we could do that to the T. But
Hmm.
once we got to that song and we had I think it was like, just we extended the call and response section and we just went ham. And everybody was jumping up and
Oh my
down.
God.
And I remember watching the owner, and he was like, if everybody dies, this is still going to be a great story.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom videotaped that concert, and I remember watching it back, and like my bass stack is like moving back and forth really precariously. The camera isn't
Yeah,
staying still. I think downstairs, like the lights were coming off over the pool tables
yeah.
and stuff.
The lights fell onto the pool tables, like
Yeah.
they fell off. And I think we actually did pull some beams away from the wall that supports the upstairs floor. And once that happened, we was like, okay, like
Yeah.
this is a winner. This
So,
is a great
in short, it was a really good show.
show. Yeah.
And everybody's still alive.
Everybody survived. It was a really good show.
You tell the Like, I'm telling you, that's a great story for anybody's grandkids who was there.
That's so cool. That's such a great story. I remember Ed telling me that in Nashville when we were in Nashville. He gave me a CD of Hazard, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You guys are so good. And I also had the pleasure of well, it was kind of a it was kind of a weird time, but like 3 years ago maybe, Ed and I were touring through St. Louis, and we were supposed to be there for just a couple of days, and we ended up having to stay for like 2 weeks or something because Ed got really sick and had to go to the hospital. And
Man.
your brother Ryan and Molly were absolute godsends to us, and they let us stay with them the whole time. Like Ed was like I mean, I remember I turned my phone on silent, which I never do that night, and of course that's the night I wake up and feel like 19 missed calls from Ed, and I was like, what? That's weird. And I was like, are you okay? I'm like, are you downstairs? He's like, no, I'm in the ER. And like apparently the paramedics had like come in to get him. All three of us were dead asleep. None of us woke up for that. Like all the paramedics coming into the house and getting Ed and taking it was. So anyway, during that time though, Ed is obviously okay, but during
Thank
that,
God.
yeah, it was an ordeal. But I got to go since we were there. They were like, "Hey, well, we've got a Hazard show. Do you want to come?" I was
got to
like,
see them.
"Yeah,
That's
I got
right.
to see Hazard. Yeah, with Ryan as the lead singer and like one,
Man, that's
yeah."
what's up.
It was really cool, and it was still an amazing band, and the whole
Oh,
room
yeah.
was dancing still. So
Yeah.
there's
They
something
kill it.
magical. Yeah.
Yeah, they kill it, man. I Ryan always makes fun of me. He's like, yeah, I've taken Hazard to higher, to new heights. They just had to get the good twin was in there. I was like, man, whatever.
Oh,
They do
Twin's
it.
gonna twin.
Yeah, right.
Twin is good.
He gives me jabs all the time. I'm like, you know what, whatever. You can have your little win, but remember, I was the one that helped start it.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, man, they do it. They do a darn good job, and the musicians that they always have in the band, they really put a lot of heart and soul into it. So
Yeah.
I think that's really what Has It to Your Booty is really about. It's just finding people who enjoy making really really good music, people music, music for everybody.
Hmm.
And Has It to Your Booty just kind of has that feel to it. So
Well, I
the name,
remember when this like several years ago when they were working on The Precipice,
mm,
and Ryan sent me the mixes. He sent me all the mixes from the album. He's like, "Hey man, just listen to this. Let me know what you think." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And they hadn't done anything since, like, I don't even know when we put out uh Squeeze. It was like 2003
Mm,
or something. They hadn't done anything since then. And this was, I think,
mm-hmm.
2011 or something. And he sent them to me. I'm like,
Right.
oh my God. Like, this is incredible. What are you guys doing? And it was like, I couldn't believe it. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times through, and I'm like, this is incredible. And
Yeah.
so I was really happy, like, that they did this. They did. I know they're trying to work on another one. I mean, I think it's just a matter of we have to wait 8 or 9 years between albums with that
Aw.
band.
I mean, that's the beauty of music. I mean, good music takes time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and doesn't go away, you know. It's just like we're all I think musicians are constantly reinventing themselves and trying new stuff, and yeah, sometimes it takes longer than you think, but it's not going anywhere.
yeah.
Right.
One of the story that I think Ash wants me to get to is
Yeah.
one of my favorite stories with Ben is when we started playing a lot in Columbia, Missouri, which is about an hour and a half or so south of where Truman State is. And we were
Yeah,
heading
about that.
we were heading down there, I think, to play. Where were we going to play? The Blue Note, I think. I
Probably,
can't.
I think it was. Yeah,
It might have
because
been the
that was
Blue
usually
Note.
our. Yeah, that was our spot.
Yeah, and so we were just, hanging out. We were just driving down in the car, chatting about, old times and life and stuff, and talking about growing up. Because I knew we were both from St. Louis, um, and I think I can remember how the order, but I asked, like, well, where'd you go to grade school? I'm like, oh, I went here. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, where'd you go to kindergarten?
Uh,
And I was like, oh, I went to Gateway Christian. He's like, no, wait, I went to Gateway Christian as a kindergartner.
yeah,
And then all of these things just fired off in our heads simultaneously. And I realized, oh my God, this is Benjamin, my best
yeah,
friend from kindergarten
yeah, yeah,
that I
man.
hadn't seen until college
College.
when we wound up in a band together.
Gives me
Yo,
chills.
you know what? I completely forgot about that conversation, Ed. I completely forgot about that. Holy cow! Because I remember we talked about the other kids who were in the same grade as us, who
Yeah.
we were wondering what happened. Carlos, Travis,
Yep.
Shiloh, all those. I was like, yo, where are all these people? And then,
Yeah.
yo, that was so crazy. Who was it? What? So I definitely, I was driving. I know I was driving at the time. I was
No, I was
driving. No, wait,
driving.
were
I had
you
to
driving?
drive you down there.
You were driving down there.
Yeah, I had to drive you down there. I can't remember why
Yeah, that's
because
right.
we
Because
were all driving separate.
yeah, we I think it was like on the weekend, and I think some
Yeah.
of us were planning on going. I think Nick and Eric had to go back to Springfield for a second for a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, holy cow!
That's a deep history, and that's
Yeah.
crazy.
'Cause I remember you you let me borrow your like awesome watch. You had like this calculator watch and you
Aw.
let me borrow it for like, and I remember
Oh, that's the cutest thing
and I'm like,
ever.
oh my God, this is so cool.
Man, I completely forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
That's the
amazing.
cutest thing I've ever heard.
Oh my
You
god!
gave him the calculator
Yeah.
watch.
And that was,
Aw.
yeah, we were like best friends in kindergarten. And then you left, I think, the next year. And
Yeah,
I hadn't
like
seen
I
you
said,
since then.
yeah, we were nomads when we were kids, man.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, we went to so many different schools and moved around so much, but oh man, and that's so weird too. Like I didn't think about that. I think we were kind of just in shock the rest of that ride.
Yep. You like called your mom, I think, immediately. She
Yeah,
couldn't get through. You had to leave a voice message, but you're like, you're never gonna guess who this. You're never gonna guess
yeah.
this story.
But how long have we been in the band together at that time? Like
It
we
had
didn't even
been a
think of.
few months, I think. It had been a while.
Wow.
That's
You know,
so
that's ridiculous.
crazy.
But of course, like, I didn't recognize you obviously because,
Yeah, well,
you know, it was,
That's a
I had
long
grown
time.
up a little bit.
yeah, I didn't recognize either of you or Ryan. Like, I didn't, um, but yeah, that's the funniest thing that
It's
happened.
weird that stuff happens
Yeah.
in all in this huge world with all these people. It's amazing. I mean, I remember being on the beach. I went to do my study abroad in Australia, and I took a little trip to Fiji with a friend of mine, and we stayed on this tiny little island called Backpacker Island, which was exactly how it sounds. It was like 100 people sleeping in a room on this private island for college kids. It was awesome. It was, but during the day we would lay out by the beach, and there was this really obnoxious girl like blasting her music on the beach, which we were very annoyed about. And she and I ended up sitting together at like one of the lunches and put together that we had gone to camp together at Camp Meadows in like the suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts when we were 5.
Whoa.
And I don't know how we got there, but I like took down her name, and I like got home and I pulled out, I was like, yeah, that's her. And I pulled out the picture of her. I mean, not the same, but also kind of eerily similar, where it's just
No,
like, how do
yeah.
you run into like this person on a private island in
That's even
Fiji?
crazier. You're halfway across the world.
Yeah, but she wasn't
Right,
cool.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't. She wasn't cool, but she was
She
there.
was blasting her music on the beach. I didn't even want to sit next to her. I was like, this girl's annoying.
I can't even. I don't know what I would have done. I was like, hey, you. I remember you. I don't like you here. I didn't like you then.
Go to the other side of the island.
Yeah.
Go back home. Oh, imagine. Yeah, it's crazy like that sometimes. I ran into my Japanese brother in New York randomly
Really?
while I was walking the streets with my grandma,
Wow.
Wait, what do you
who
mean your
was here to visit.
Japanese brother?
Okay, here we go. So I studied abroad while I was in undergrad with Ed and them, and I studied in
Oh.
Japan. So I had a host family. Well, not a host family. I
Oh.
just kind of met this guy, and then he introduced me to his family, and then like we just kicked it. And for the time I was there in Japan, and he ended up moving to New York some years later to go to FIT, and I had happened to move to New York. I was supposed to live with him, but we couldn't find an apartment, and he had to finish school, so things happen or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I was walking. My grandma came to visit one year. We were walking up the street doing whatever we could in the middle of Manhattan, out of nowhere, and she starts talking to me. She's like, "How's your friend Kashi doing?" And I was like, "He's good. Last I heard of him, he was like finishing up his FIT. He finished with FIT, moved back to Japan. He's working for some fashion company." And all of a sudden, like we're walking down the street, and I hear "Grandma," and and my grandma's like, "Oh my God, Kashi, we were just talking about you." And he just
That's
appeared
so
out of
weird.
nowhere. So I
Wow.
was like,
And you were just
"That's
talking about
crazy."
him. Wow, that's
Exactly.
crazy.
So it happens. It really does happen. So
Wow.
I'm trying to manifest millions of dollars at this point in time. I don't know.
Yeah, right? You just it's like we can run into people from all over the world of random places, but we can't make $1 million.
Yeah.
It should be an easy thing.
Apparently, that's not even a lot of money nowadays,
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
right? Yeah, but no, yeah, it's amazing what you can, what you experience throughout your lifetime, and you just never know, man. You never know.
Yeah.
You're gonna run into your childhood best friend in a band somewhere.
That's so crazy. Well, so Ben, what are you doing nowadays? Are you still doing music, or you mentioned you
So,
love hip hop and got a Scarlet solo?
oh, did I freeze up on you guys?
Just a little bit, but
Oh,
you're,
there I
you're
am.
good.
I was having some technical difficulties. Yes.
Oh, no
What's
worries.
happening?
So yeah, so right, it happens a lot. So yeah, I'm in New York. I work for the City University of New York. Actually, I do music on the side. I haven't done as much lately because I've been finishing up my second master's degree in ethnomusicology.
Nice.
So I went,
Wow.
yeah,
We were just
I went
talking about that a couple
were you?
podcasts.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were. Mhm.
There's just quick side rant there. We did a podcast on Elizabeth Cotton, and she ended up being hosted by the Seavers, isn't like, right? Am I saying this right, Ed? The name right?
Seegers.
Seegers, yeah, Pete Seeger, like, but
Wow.
his like parents, anyway, really musical family, and the dad was like one of the professors of ethnomusicology, like one of the first ones somewhere. So
Dope.
yeah, it's the
That's what's
first
up.
time I've heard that
That's what's
term, and
up.
now I hear it
Yeah,
again. Yeah,
that name. Yeah, that's and like it's such a niche like career field or just field period. But yeah, I just fell in love with ethnomusicology after doing some research back in undergrad, and I decided that's what I wanted to study. So I'm finishing that up. I do still have my trumpet. I still play every once in a while. In fact, it was this podcast. I'm gonna chalk it up to you guys. This podcast that made me get back into one, ethnomusicology as hard as I am now, and two, starting to do music again. So I just
nice.
ordered like new equipment and everything. My computer, as soon as pandemic hit, of course, my computer became obsolete.
Yep.
My instruments, like all my peripherals, became obsolete. I had to get a new laptop, and all the stuff that I had to plug into my old computer would not plug into this laptop at all.
Oh,
So I was like, oh, great. So now
Yep.
I gotta do all of that. So I'm getting back into just kind of making music and exploring different different genres, different cultures and stuff like that. And that's literally what I've been doing for the past, I don't honestly, since I've been here in New York, just kind of enjoying the diversity, the cultures, all the different stuff here in New York, like the cosms and cosms of different musical experiences and creative experience and artistic experiences. So not artistic, sorry. But yeah, so but my 9 to 5 is I'm an advisor for college students who are going into different degrees and whatnot. So I do that 9 to 5, and then on the side I just do my music hustles. So it's not glamorous.
that kind of sounds glamorous to me. I don't, but everyone thinks that we're
It's a lot more
glamorous.
emails than you really want to deal with.
Yeah, well, so is booking music around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a funny thing, right? How you look at something, you're like, oh, that sounds and looks so glamorous, and when you kind of dig into what really is involved, you're like, nope, not glamorous at all.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I mean, I still pay rent. I wonder, should I go get a head of lettuce, or should I just go ahead and get a burger from down the street sometimes? So,
Yep. That's the choices we live with nowadays.
yeah, that's it.
What
But
do
I do
you
a lot of other stuff.
what do you
Yeah.
focus on in ethnomusicology? Do you have a specific focus?
Oh, and can you
So,
explain it to people what that is? Also, sorry, two
Yeah.
questions
no.
at once, but people might not know.
So I'll go with trying to explain it first. So ethnomusicology is an offshoot of musicology, which is kind of like the study of like music as it progressed through history,
Mm.
music in its like particular forms, music and its genres, things like that. Musicology is really a scholarly based, discipline where, you write a lot of papers, you discuss whether or not Beethoven did this or whether or not Chopin did this and whatnot, and you prove all these different things. Ethnomusicology, I think, is to me is more of a mixture of cultural anthropology and musicology.
Oh.
So it's really the culture of the art form of music and its particular ethos, which you're looking at
Mm-hmm.
through an anthropological standpoint. And I know this is all going to be like this sounds like a foreign language to a lot of people. But to me, I just basically say it's like anthropology mixed with musicology. So my
Interesting.
thing is I'm studying hip hop music,
Okay.
Oh, cool.
especially in this day and age where social justice has become a huge topic, and hopefully not just a trend.
Yeah.
But folk music is ethnomusicology at its heart, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. So when you're talking about music particular to groups of people, to cultures, to um, you know genealogies, to different tribes and stuff like that, that's ethnomusicology.
Wow.
And I think the the foundation of it is trying to trying to document something otherwise that would have been lost to the annals of history.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that's what I know hip hop isn't going anywhere, but hip hop has changed so much within the last decade alone. Well, first of all, in the last 5 years alone, uh,
Yeah.
ideal of what hip hop is has changed so much. And I just want to know certain questions. I have questions myself, but also if you don't document stuff, if you don't write it down, if you don't study it, then how do you ever progress in it? So my ideal is to learn more about an art firm that an art form that essentially comes from my heart and soul of my people,
Mm-hmm.
and something that is essentially very American, a true American art form, just
Yeah.
like jazz, just like blues, rock and roll, all of that stuff. So um, I just, I'm really passionate about learning about it. What I don't like is having to be an academic about it. I don't want to. I feel like every time I talk about it, I feel like I always have to use these words that only academics would consider to be like the proper way to talk about music. And I'm like, I can cuss in this paper and it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
That's
If
cool.
if I'm in giving a presentation about this, I can like say the lyrics as they truly are,
Yeah.
and people should understand that it's not the content of the music, it's what's behind the music.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
No,
the
I
pedagogy.
agree. I think you should, that's something hopefully you can help normalize
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
like, having ha, you know being able to write abstracts and other kinds of things in your and for papers that anybody could understand. It doesn't have to be an academic thing, like,
right.
and especially for things like music, for very culturally broad things that
Hmm.
that should be accessible. That knowledge should be accessible to everyone, even in a research paper. I get what you're saying. Like, it's a little
Yeah,
frustrating to have to stay academic because it's a paper, you know,
right.
or
I
presentation or
mean, I,
something.
I had that I had that same gripe with when it came to just getting a music degree,
Mm-hmm.
having to be confined, just structured so much so that it has to be this way, or else it won't be considered, of value. And I was like, well, who are you to tell me what's of value to me? You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, that's the that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the pitfall that I think a lot of people fall into when it comes to them trying to express themselves creatively. Like, you have to find the value in something that's already valuable to yourself. Like, that don't make no sense to me. So otherwise, you guys, like, I mean, I'm sure you kind of understand what I'm saying, but
Mm-hmm.
you have your own journey, you have your own story. Ashley you come from a different musical background than Ed came from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
somehow you guys find the value in the type of music that you guys play. It's
Right.
not it's not music that you find readily available everywhere, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's just as important as when you turn on a radio or when you turn on a music video and you see that the music itself is essentially the language, the power, the everything that's in that. And you guys have that whenever you perform that. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we need to have you appear on our next podcast that we start, which is gonna about is if music is a language, Ben, because this is
Yeah.
exactly the kind of stuff that we're gonna be diving deeper into. That was really well said, and
Mm-hmm.
I could not agree more.
Count me in. You know me. I mean, I I could do this all day.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is great.
That's fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
awesome to hear your passion for it, and
Yeah.
you. I think you have a way of explaining all of this that's really easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not an academic, and I'm right with you. So those, I mean, we're not cussing on the podcast, I guess, but but I just really like the way that you're describing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like this because you can actually we can have real conversations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the wonderful thing about podcasting. I mean,
Yeah.
you make the content for your audience, and if they don't like it, they don't have to listen to it, but you get to
Yeah.
say it regardless. So, but yeah, I can't wait to hear more. I would love to be on, on the next iteration of whatever projects you guys come out. I consider you guys masters of your craft, and I really look forward to seeing what you guys do next.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's awfully kind.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely be talking to you about that. Our audience doesn't even know much about it yet either, but it's going to be something that's coming up, like a podcast hustle, I guess.
Yeah.
Podcast project for us.
Side hustle to the side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. That rabbit hole runs deep.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you're kind of the perfect person to talk to. Actually, I didn't even realize it until today. So that's super
Yeah.
exciting.
Listen, that's serendipity working again.
Yeah, there it is once again. I couldn't believe it when you said you were like ethnomusicology. It was what? I just was talking about that. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Now I got to keep up my end of the bargain and actually finish the degree.
Yeah. Well, I had to look up what it was when I first heard it. I was like, what is that? Apparently it's been around for a while.
Didn't
Yeah, that's what it has been. There was a government sanctioned projects that used to be given to people, like especially when they were studying the Native Americans. That's like the beginning of it in this country for real.
Oh, wow.
that makes sense?
Yeah.
Didn't Nick Johnson do something in that too? Isn't he I don't know if he's
He's a
ethnomusicologist.
musicologist.
He's a musicologist, right? Right.
Yeah, he does musicology. So, and he has a lot of cool projects. I see his podcast pop up every once in a while too.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a podcast now.
Yeah, this is the time to do all this stuff. I mean, what else
Yeah,
you gonna do?
exactly.
Yeah.
This is the time everybody starts the podcast, or everybody gets the whatever like upgrades their hardware so they can do everything remotely. This is what happened. I mean, we had the plan to do this for a while, but at the same time, we just needed the kind of push, and the pandemic happened to be the push for that. So
Trust me, I wholeheartedly understand. I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long, and then I've been wanting to do so many things. I actually accomplished something that I've always wanted to do over the pandemic, which had nothing to do with music, but it did have to do with creating and working with the hands. I built my first motorcycle. So
what?
Wow.
that was
That's
fun.
amazing.
In my girlfriend's mom's garage.
Whoa!
That's so cool.
You built it from like scratch, as it were.
So yeah, essentially, my mom had got this, motorcycle that was way too big for her, and I was like, I'll take it. And so I basically tore it apart, cut things up, chopped it up, built a brand new type of I built a chopper basically, and it was fun. It was a good time. Good time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you'll have to share some photos and videos with us. That's really really
Yeah.
incredible.
Holy
So my
nuts.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah.
Where can we find your socials or your music or your anything you want to share with our audience so they can kind of look deeper into whatever creative thing you want to promote?
Oh man, yeah, you can definitely find me on Instagram at Benzilla06. That's my tag, at Benzilla06, and then on YouTube, the number 4 Mata Studio, 4MATA Studio. That's my YouTube, and then on Facebook, Stuart Benjamin or Benzilla is fine. You'll find me on there. Like, just go to Ed's page, go to Ashley's page. I'm friends with those guys. It's no
Yeah,
problem.
and we'll link everything in the show notes too, so that
Yeah.
people will know
I
where
just
to
threw
go.
it into the chat too, so go check out that
gracias.
motorcycle.
Yeah, and whatever other weird things. Like I have a hodgepodge of stuff. I cook a lot.
I noticed
take-
that.
Oh man, like if it wasn't for music, food, and art, like I don't know what I would be doing with my life, to be honest.
Oh, what are the earlier Hazard albums that you both are on, so we can tell them to go listen to those?
We're on. I know you
Put Your
sang
Hand-
lead on "Put Your Hand on It."
Yeah.
I think you had left by the time we did "Squeeze."
Yeah, so
I'm on
Squeeze,
that
Put Your Hand
one.
on It was what I was on. So,
Yeah.
and then we had a very limited release of something that we did, like the very first thing that we recorded in somebody's house.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I can't remember what that one
I
was,
think I
but
still have that. I have that demo sitting on my library somewhere.
yeah, that was just a self-titled album called "Hands to Your Booty,"
That's right.
uh, and I think we had like 5 songs on it,
Yep, it was
and
recorded just in a room. Oh, well, no, we
one
did that other one with the guy in Springfield. That's right. I remember that one now.
oh
Because we did the
oh
very,
yeah
very first one in like somebody's room.
yeah oh yeah
And then we did the
yeah I
one
forgot
with,
whose house.
yeah. And then we did the one with a guy Eric knew in Springfield.
Mhm.
And then we
Yeah,
did the big one in St. Louis.
yeah. So but the one that the quintessential one that I'm definitely on, that's truly mastered and ready for the airwaves,
Yeah.
is "Put Your Hand on It." So
Yep.
that was back in
Cool.
2002, I want to say.
I think so. Yeah, something like
Is
that.
that on Spotify
Yeah,
or anywhere?
I'm pretty sure that's on
I
Spotify.
think it is
Okay, cool.
Spotify. Yeah, definitely on Spotify.
But yeah, you guys hopefully go or to our audience if you get a chance, just go down that the hazard to your booty rabbit hole. Start with put your hand on it and then keep moving forward because the Ed and Ben have been saying that the band has been through a lot of different members and changes, but the music's always been incredible and I don't think the style has changed that much either. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Really, I mean, it's just kind of evolved a little bit. Like I think
Yeah,
that's from listening to the last album that they did, it's just more of what we did, but a little bit bigger,
yeah.
in
Yeah.
scope.
I couldn't have put it better myself, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because we had kind of started with the sound, and honestly, I think Dave, I don't want to pin on any one person, but I think Dave helped shape it because he was such a hard, like, metal dude.
Yeah,
He put that edge in there, and
That's
then
cool.
that stayed in.
yeah. And it was really, I think, to be honest, it was just really what we tried to do was try to capture the same energy that a lot of the old funk, the old cats, the legends in the game,
Yeah.
that Stevie Wonder, that James Brown, that Parliament, that
Hmm.
anybody that you could think of that back in the day that just said, "Listen, let's go out there and do some good music,"
Yep.
and that's what we tried to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely check out "Has It to Your Booty" on Spotify. All the albums should be up there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
and
anywhere. Probably other streaming sites too, but
yeah.
you know.
What about you guys? What are you guys doing? Like, let me get y'all stuff out there.
This
This
is mostly what we're doing right now. I mean, we're kind of just like chipping away at a few new songs.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we basically have a new EP ready. We like releasing EPs more than we like releasing albums.
Yeah, it's just less
Those are more
work.
fun to do, man.
Well,
Yeah.
and you can really just focus. It's just, yeah, it's less pressure and stress. I mean, considering if we had like a producer that we would just like be able to play and go, okay, no, do your thing and be different. But considering we produce and we like to produce it ourselves,
Yeah.
it's nice to just kind of focus
Right.
in on 4 to 8 songs and really like narrow down what we want the sound to be for each one. And so, but we basically have the songs written for a new one. So when we record it, we'll see because I mean the podcast is a lot of work and I have a couple of side projects that I've done since the pandemic. Like I've experimented with some electronic music, which has been so much fun and a big departure for me, but I really, really love a lot of it. Not all of it. So obviously the stuff that I like. So I have a few singles I've put out and like another EP kind of ready to go. And then Stephanie Groot, who's our violin, who you know, because she stayed with
Yeah.
us at your place. She and I teamed up with this woman named Laura Hall, who's unbelievable musician, and we went to her little studio in LA and spent a weekend just recording 4 songs. So that's coming out really shortly. In fact, I think one of our singles, I just kind of threw it up on Spotify, and I haven't even
Nice.
promoted it yet, but it is there. And
Nice.
yeah, so between that, I think like once those things are released, and then Ed and I, as I mentioned, I want to start this other podcast. So I think like once we start the other podcast or finish the other podcast, we'll kind of start on the new EP. Am I right, Ed?
All right.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we have to see, like, yeah, that's kind of the tentative plan at this point
Yeah.
because we're really in the early planning stages on the new podcast.
We are,
so
and it won't take place of this one. It's like it's going to be a it won't be like
More
a
like a
forever.
series.
Yeah, it's a series, so there'll be 8 to 10 episodes. So we'll actually like
That's cool.
produce it and
Yeah.
have invite our guests on and then edit it together as an 8-part series and then release and promote that. So we'll continue this while we're doing that. So
yeah.
yeah. We're
Dope,
podcasters
dope.
now, I guess, but that also do
That's
music
awesome, man.
instead of musicians that also do podcasts.
Yeah.
Listen, I stopped going by the moniker of musician and just started going by creative, and that's it. Like that's all I'm doing. I'm a creative,
I love that.
Yeah.
and that's just
I'm gonna take that.
I think that's what I'd like to aim at especially with this podcast too, is to have like not just musicians, like that's who we know, but we've had other types of creatives as well, and I think that's the important thing is like everybody's starting to become more creative now because they've had to in a way,
Yeah.
but that's a good thing, like just
And
that.
for mental health too,
Yeah.
because it's gotten a lot of us through. And Ben, I hope you do actually consider starting your own podcast because you're
Yeah.
really good at this talking thing.
Yeah. And it's easier than you think to do. So
Yeah, Ed can hook you up.
listen. That's what everybody keeps saying. I'm like, yo, listen. If you guys have a class, I'd be more than happy to sign up.
How to podcast
Yeah.
if you're a musician.
Right?
Yeah.
With the bathroom, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. So much better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's-
That's the
it's-
beauty of being a podcaster is you don't have the subway pee issue.
Sure.
That's it. But that should be a good topic. Do you lose your creativity when you're not struggling to find a bathroom?
I don't know. There are sometimes some moments in the podcast where I'm like, I really have to pee right now.
But half the time you just get up and leave, which is fine. Like I don't it's just okay.
Yeah, especially in our video break. Yeah, just to unveil the curtain for you guys, for our audience. Sometimes in that video break, I do run off to the bathroom and come back.
That's it. We are real people. Like we are real people.
Right.
Yeah, we're people too.
Awesome, man. You guys are dope. I love this. I love this so much, man.
This has
Good.
been so awesome having you on. It's just an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure talking to you. And
Listen, anytime you guys want me to join in, I'm with it.
yeah, we've
with
got some more stuff to talk about.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
But before we let you go here, we did have one more question for you, and this is something that we've asked all of our guests so far, and you don't have to think too hard about it, but if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh my gosh.
Now I just said you didn't have to think too hard about it, so you've already failed. I'm just kidding.
I know, right? But this is a question I've thought about all my life, to be honest. Like ever since I got into comic books and stuff, I'm like, what would I want? What would I want? You know what? I think the crazy thing about it is I think I would just like the power to fly.
That's Ed's.
Me too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his.
And as simple as it is, and as as cool as it is too, like it's really just the ability to get away from something. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Like just to fly, because sometimes you need to just get away. But people like, I want to know what people are thinking. I don't want to know what you're thinking. People are gross. They're like, oh, I want to be invisible. I want to be super strong. I'm like, yeah, you can get all that stuff, but can you get away from people? That's the question. Like, can you really stop somebody in their tracks? Like, oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna shoot you, and then
Yeah, that's a good point.
you're gone.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
That is a good point. And like, yeah, try to catch me. Unless, well, I don't know. Like, it sounds like you and Ed are gonna do some flying together.
Yeah, we'll
'Cause
just fly away wherever.
we don't want to give too many people that superpower. We don't want the guy with the gun also being able to fly.
That's true. Very true. I didn't think of it that way, but
Yeah, but then
see
you
who's-
have cool like dog fights and stuff. That'd be kind of
yeah.
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true.
Nah, but yeah, that'd be cool. I think having a cool superpower. Everybody should have a cool superpower.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
Well, thanks again, Ben, for hanging out with us. This was a real treat.
Thank you guys for having.
And
Yeah.
we're hopefully going to have Ryan on the show too. We're going to reschedule with him. And then we'll get his side of the story.
Yeah. And then we'll have you both back on together.
Yeah.
And then-
No, we're just kidding.
And freak everybody out.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
be like, yo.
But we really appreciate it. Good luck with your second masters. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anybody who has
Thank
even 2 master's degrees. So I hope that'll work out for you.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that were that foolish. So
It's a lot to take on. Good for you.
So good luck. I wish you all the best, and we will hopefully talk with you again very, very soon.
Yeah.
thank you guys
so
both,
much,
and I
Ben.
wish you guys all the best. Please stay safe.
Thank you.
Yes, you too.
And thank you guys again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thanks for stopping
Oh
in.
man, this was awesome. This was a great Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, you take care.
Thanks,
All right,
Ben.
see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we didn't have like an hour to sit around and chit chat the last time, when we stayed with him, because as he mentioned, he had to go to work, but he's what a real entertainer, he's a real natural entertainer.
That's why, we got lucky when we started. We got lucky when we started Hazard, where it was like, oh yeah, here's this naturally entertaining guy who is out front and getting people into it and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
it's just we got very lucky. I mean, we got very lucky with that band in general.
Yeah. Well, and also how lucky for you guys that like when Ben couldn't be the lead singer anymore, it's like, oh, well, I have a twin brother that's also awesome, so we'll
Yeah.
just slide him in.
Yeah, it was funny because we had I think he wanted to come in and we're like, wow, okay, well if we had twin lead singers and they're both these like cool, black dudes and they both can sing, and it's like, oh man, it's kind of perfect. And then at that point when we had 10 people in the band, we had 2 sets of identical twins in the band. Ryan and Ben out front, and then Jeremy the keyboardist and Greg the alto sax. And,
Wow, that's it, crazy.
and that was, I think, when we did a lot of that time was when we did some of our coolest stuff, like when we got to play. When we got to do like our cool. We played a lot of shows at the Blue Note in Columbia, which is one of the bigger venues in Columbia, Missouri, and Music Cafe, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was really neat.
That's
It
cool.
was a really neat experience, and
Yeah.
I'm really glad that Ben has gone on to do this like incredible stuff in academia.
Yeah. 2 masters. Wow. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't even handle the like thought of going for one. I thought about it for like a half a minute when the pandemic started, and I was like, no.
You're right. Yeah, it is incredible to hear that. And I honestly, I didn't know he was working on a master's in ethnomusicology. So that, yeah, we're definitely going to have to circle
Yeah.
back with him for the other podcast.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
That's everything he was talking about. I was like, this is everything I want to talk about. and more. By the way, my dog has been like fast asleep this whole
That's
time.
incredible. This dog is,
I've been like keep checking. I'm like, is he alive?
he's- oh my gosh.
He's like, why are you waking me up? I was sleeping so well.
Well, I wanted to we'll throw it to a video
All right,
of
cool.
ours for
I'm
now.
gonna go pee.
And I believe I picked one of the songs from a quarantine
Oh, yeah.
videos. I think it was Ghosts of Germantown.
I think that was the first one we did.
I think you're right.
I think.
So I'm gonna go ahead and play that for y'all right now.
All right, that should be good. We'll pretend it is. There we go.
1, 2, 3,
1, 2, 3.
I wanna sit at a bar and figure you out and climb back to conversation. And I wanna make up a song and write it about our endless worn conclusions. It's just who we are, and I hope you wrote every note you slipped under my door, and I hope to God you know someone will study the dent in my wall, wondering what happened here and where we are now. There goes of Germantown. I wanna ride in your car and drive to the edge to figure out all of our problems. And I wanna sip on your beer and sit way too close and forget that we can't solve them. It's just who we are, and I hope you wrote every note you slipped under my door, and I hope to God you know someone will study the dent in my wall, wondering what happened here and where we are now. There goes of Germantown. I wanna be in your house and listen all night to all of your haunted stories. And you put me on the couch 'cause I shouldn't drive. It's just how it goes. It's just who we are, and I hope you wrote every note you slipped under my door, and I hope to God you know someone will study the dent in my wall, wondering what the town. We're ghosts of Germantown. We're ghosts of Germantown.
All right. You just see it.
Stephanie is hilarious.
I know, right?
She was like on the floor with Garfunkel trying to get him to eat his food. And so she was like eating it and then feeding it to him, like chewing and swallowing his food. I was like,
That's funny.
yeah, she's a nut. Also, I'm looking at the stream right now and it looks like I have a balloon coming out of the top of my head this
Yes.
entire podcast, doesn't it? Cool.
Just so people didn't forget
I love how
whose birthday it was.
there's a balloon coming out of my head, isn't there?
Now we'll do a little show and tell. It was Ashley's turn this week, and she sent along this cool photo,
I love that photo.
which a lot of you may recognize if you got our latest EP.
Oh yeah. I forgot that was in there.
Yep, this was taken by Howard Ignatius, but we had did we have did Jill do a painting of this? Is that what we did this time?
No, I don't think so.
Or we just had somebody do a cool overlay of the photo.
Well, wait, the photo was where is the photo in the it's in the Human album?
Yeah, it's the us looking on at the gallery photo.
Oh,
in the bottom left corner.
right. Yeah, no, that was our graphic artist came up with that.
Okay.
Yeah, he came up with that. That's right. So you see us like from basically, my waist or shoulders up or something like that. So you don't see the toilet.
Yeah.
You just see us, because it was like we wanted a photo of us like looking at something, and so that was what I used, because that's us looking at something from the back, and
Yeah.
it was kind of perfect. But
So this is a photo of us. We're both sitting on a we're on a toilet on top of a house.
yep, that is on top of a house.
This house happened to be Nitwit Ridge, where we filmed our very first music, or not our very first music video, but our first music video with Howard Ignatius.
Yeah, our first official music video with Howard Ignatius, because we did one more like kind of unofficial video with him, and then an official. And it was a really, really cool. So you guys know the video. It's the dragon. I mean, if you know Witherword, you know the video. It's
Yeah.
if you don't know it yet, you should look it up on YouTube. The Witherword, the dragon. And yeah, we got to like spend a whole day filming at this crazy place, and like Ed said, in Nitwit Ridge in Cambria. And it was Howard's suggestion. He's like, there's this house that's really like barely standing on legs, and I say legs because it's kind of like it's a little suspended, isn't it?
A little bit, because it's on the side of a hill, I believe.
Yeah. And they it kind of got a historical marker. I'd probably be taken down because I didn't exactly feel safe inside the house, but we I'm like, this is gonna collapse on us any second. But yeah, this guy bought it and does tours in it, and the house is crazy because it was basically built. Like it was built with garbage in the walls, so there's like beer cans and toilet seats everywhere, and it was just like water heaters.
Yeah,
were
it was a
scattered
water
around.
water heater garden.
Yeah, and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And you could just take a tour of the house. And so we asked him if we could film the video there, and so we went to different rooms of the house to film it. And we didn't film at the rooftop, but I was like, oh, this is a cool photo though of Ed and I like looking off at in the distance. So we asked someone to take a picture of Ed and I sitting on this gross toilet seat that I'm guessing is not actually used, just kind of there for
just kind of up there.
Yeah.
It's a decoration.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the photo that keeps on giving because it was there for the music video shoot, and then it's apparently made it into that I forgot that this was the photo, but yeah, it made it onto the cover of Human album.
Yeah.
Our latest album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cool. That was a really neat day. Just and the guy who kind of was the docent there also helped us a little bit with the shooting. He like held the he would like hold the reflector or whatever.
Yeah,
when we needed to.
he was really excited about it, so he was all into it. And yeah, we filmed in like in the kitchen, and we filmed in one of the rooms.
Yeah, like a little bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah, we filmed in the one of
Another
the
outhouse.
Oh right,
Where I did the
yeah.
solo.
That's right. There was an outhouse with a double toilet seat.
Yep.
And so Ed sat on one, there were like two toilets in the one outhouse.
Yeah.
Which, like, why?
But at the same time, why not?
Yeah. So Ed sat on the one and did his solo, and I sat on the other and kind of stood up
That's
and
right.
did a little singing along. And
That's
then,
right.
yeah, and then there was like a cool clover field, which then Howard turned into those like red feathery things in post. And,
Yeah.
I can't remember what else, but yeah, we got, and then walking up the staircase that's inside the house. It was,
Yep, up to that old room.
yeah, and the old room. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's a cool place. I wouldn't want to live there, but
No. But yeah, it's a neat little place.
yeah.
I don't know what the status is of it right now. I think it was being sold at this point, but it was for sale the last time I looked.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the status is now, but yeah, that was a neat little memory from that day, and yeah, you're right. It's the photo that keeps on giving. So
Yeah. So we're happy about that photo.
so yeah, that I guess that brings us to the end. I think.
Yeah.
Let's I guess close with some kind of song, and
Let's do a Garfunkel song. one more time for the puppy.
yay!
All I really want to is a puppy for Hanukkah. At least I didn't name him Monica. My puppy for Hanukkah. So once again, if you guys have not met Garfunkel yet, this is Garfunkel.
Hi, Garfunkel.
He's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, what a chill dog.
Yeah, he's chill, but then he runs around like a, crazy man. And but yeah, the second you pick him up, he's like,
That's fascinating.
yeah, he's awesome. He's really good with the dogs, and he's hilarious, and he's potty trained already. He's already potty trained. He's such a good boy. We love him so much. It's crazy. So yeah, he's gonna be with me everywhere. So we've already taken him to like every gig because he just sits in people's arms and just falls asleep. It was hilarious. I was playing at Ravensview, and I'd see like it was kind of became a game for me on stage, like who's got my dog. And he would just be passed around. Like one time I saw like a waiter walk by with him. I was like yeah, but he's part Chihuahua, part Shih Tzu, part Terrier, and possibly like a Wiener dog, possibly. They're not sure. And yeah, he's really cool. He's tiny.
Yeah, we could do a Simon and Garfunkel.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, I had to name him Garfunkel. Yeah, yeah, he's very funky, and he sings harmony. So
You want to do dangling conversation?
sure,
Feel like doing that?
I do. I am going to pull the lyrics up though
That's fine.
because again, per point earlier, we haven't done the songs. We just don't gig as much as we used to. It's amazing how fast the lyrics are disappearing from my memory
Yeah.
of like everything we do. It's really frustrating actually. I know you feel it too, Ed.
Oh yeah, I absolutely do. It happens easier with the words than it does with like playing the guitar, but yeah.
Not for me. Well, it's the same.
Yeah, like the words fly out of my brain faster than the guitar chords do, but yeah. Even for our own songs.
Yeah, even for our own songs, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I do have them up here, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Cool. Before we launch into our song, we want to thank our special guest, Ben Stewart.
Yes,
We'll
amazing guest.
put his info in the show notes so you can check him out on YouTube, follow him on Instagram. He does post a lot of awesome food cooking stuff. Look, if you're hungry, look at his feed to get some inspiration. We want to thank our sponsor, EV.
Yay!
For more info about EV, check out electrovoice.com. You can see all the cool mics they have, all the cool speaker systems they have. Check them out and tell them Witherwood sent you. And finally, thanks to our patrons. We are really happy that you guys are along for the ride. And we'll be putting up some more stuff pretty soon. So if you don't want to miss out on all the bonus stuff, just check out patreon.com/crimesagainstfolk. You can join for as little as $5 a month and get a lot of really cool stuff. So on that note, we'll end with this Simon and Garfunkel tune.
Yeah,
This is
for you, Garfunky.
this is the Dangling Conversation.
It's a still life watercolor of a now late afternoon as the sun shines through the curtain lace and shadows wash the room. Then we sit and drink our coffee, couched in our indifference like shells upon the shore. You can hear the ocean roar in the dangling conversation and the superficial sighs are the borders of our lives. And you read your Emily Dickinson and I my Robert Frost, and we note our place with bookmarkers that measure what we've lost. Like a poem poorly written, we are verses out of rhythm, couplets out of rhyme, in syncopated time. In the dangling conversation and the superficial sighs are the borders of our lives. Yes, we speak of things that matter with words that must be said. Can analysis be worthwhile? Is the theater really dead? And how the room is softly faded
lost in the dangling conversation and the superficial sighs at the borders of our lives.
Very nice.
Yay.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. There you go, Garfunkel. That's your first. That's your first Simon and Garfunkel.
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Linda. Thanks, Yvonne, Danuta, Glenn, Emma, Jonathan, McDaniel's here, and Alice and Dad and everyone else. Say hi, Repeater. Say if you're hi if you're still here, and we'll say hi back.
thanks for hanging out. And we will see you next time.
Bye. That's the new podcast puppy. You're in, dude. You were great.
Bye, Garfunkel.
Bye. Oh, we will get back to the UK. Don't worry. We will.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.